Alright, what is up, you guys? I am here with a review of Survivor Series 2015. And to be honest, wasn't really looking forward to watching this and reviewing it. And believe it or not, I had never seen this before. When I sat down and watched this today, it is the first time I ever watched this pay-per-view. In 2015, I had no interest in this. I was disappointed by the match card. I skipped it. And Survivor Series is my favorite pay-per-view of the year. So for me to skip it, that's really saying something. So going in, I'm just like, ugh, I gotta do it. I'm reviewing all of them. But, not bad. I watched it, and it turned out to be a good pay-per-view. And I feel like this pay-per-view is really mostly known for one thing, and that's the terroristic threats. Basically, let's see where this took place. This took place in Atlanta, and you can even see on Wikipedia, it says ISIS threat. Like, there is a whole section on this, on the Wikipedia page for it. So, it was a big deal at the time, Vince didn't cancel the show, which I don't think I would have either. If they're not canceling Crown Jewel, they ain't canceling shit. I'm telling you that right now. So, at the time, I'm just like, I didn't think anything would happen, honestly. Like, if I was going to the show, I still would have went. But we had, on the pre-show, this was a mistake. The pre-show saw the 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. Bullshit. Do not put this on the pre-show. What is Survivor Series known for? Traditional matches. And honestly, you could have just put Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler on the pre-show. That match only went 6 minutes and 41 seconds. Not many people had much interest in that. So just put that on the pre-show. And then put this tag team match on the main card, because it's a hell of a lot better than the elimination match we got on the main card. I hated this year's traditional Survivor Series match that was on the card. Hated it, which we will get to that. But yeah, we saw the Dudley Boys, Goldust, Neville, and Titus O'Neil facing Bo Dallas, Connor, Stardust, and Victor, and The Miz. It was a good traditional Survivor Series match. So why the fuck are you putting it on the pre-show, and then the one we get is just bullshit? But I digress. That's the only rant we'll be having here tonight. So the opening card, or opening match, wow, I can't talk. The opening match, we had Roman Reigns and Del Rio for the semifinal match in the tournament for the WWE title. Going into this, I was not a fan of this whole tournament. I'm not a big tournament person unless it's King of the Ring. And that's one big reason. I just didn't really feel like watching this pay-per-view. Of course, Roman was going to win. Whatever, it's predictable. I'd rather just have the finals on this pay-per-view. Get some other matches on here. I don't want to see a tournament at Survivor Series. I just don't. And, this turned out to be a pretty good match. I think the following match, which was Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, was a much better match. And it was kind of weird structure. They had both semifinal matches back-to-back, which I get why, because obviously the two winners have to face each other later, so you might as well have the matches go on first so they can rest up and plan their match out and everything. So that's fine. So both pretty good semifinal matches. And then we saw the retarded 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. The Usos, the Lucha Dragons, and Ryback defeating King Barrett, Sheamus, and the New Day. Fuck this match. This is garbage. So we had the New Day. All three of them are in the match. Big E gets eliminated. So then the New Day walks out. So there's 3 eliminations at once, basically. They just walk out on Sheamus. King Barrett was eliminated first for that team. So then the whole New Day just walks out after Big E's eliminated. Put this on the pre-show. That's just the way I look at it. This is the match that should have just been on the goddamn pre-show. If you're going to pull stupid booking shit like that, It's an elimination match. You only get one or two of these a year. Why waste it with that stupid ass booking? Son of a bitch. Yeah, this match, I really have nothing good to say about it. So let's move on. And then we saw Charlotte and Paige for the Divas Championship. And, at the time that didn't seem very special, but looking back, that's a good matchup. Paige and Charlotte. I'm a huge Charlotte fan. I'm a huge Paige fan. And this was a pretty well-structured match. We had Charlotte submitting Paige clean. And Charlotte was kind of new here. She won the title at Night of Champions. And she was really still Ric Flair's daughter at the time. And she really had to prove herself and kind of break away from Ric Flair a little bit. So this was really a transitional period for her. And this was a good match. And in a way, you could kind of tell, she was still working through some stuff in terms of finding out what kind of performer she is. She wasn't quite the Charlotte Flair that we have now, which is really talented. So, still a really cool matchup. And then we had Tyler Breeze versus Dolph Ziggler. I like Tyler Breeze, don't get me wrong, but this just kind of felt out of nowhere. Like, this just didn't really garner much interest, even going into this. I'm glad Breeze went over. He needed to at the time, but looking back, what's he really done since then? And that's unfortunate. So at least he's back in NXT now, where he can actually show his talent. And I basically just know him for Battle of the Brands on the Up, Up, Down, Down channel. Shout out to that. Okay, and then we had the Brothers of Destruction, which is Kane and Taker, of course, defeating the Wyatt family, which was Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. And this went 10 minutes and 18 seconds. And this was pretty cool, more for Undertaker's entrance, because, this was the 25th anniversary of when Taker debuted. And, it was cool for the entrance, but everything else was just kind of there. They put, a giant, what looked like a giant coffin, I guess you could say. And it had a little LED monitor in it, and just had a screen, was showing his different looks and everything. And it was really cool. You had Kane come out first, and he stood at the end of the ramp. And then he did his little fire thing for Taker. That was cool. Come on. I think I would have added a little Paul Bearer at the very beginning, just as a little tribute to him as well. But, I would have just done his little trademark call to The Undertaker, I guess. That's what I would have done. Because we were still kind of fresh off Paul Bearer's death. But, yeah, this was just kind of there. I feel like if you're going to celebrate 25 years of The Undertaker, you could probably do something a little bigger. But, he was just coming off the Brock Lesnar rivalry, so I understand. But, this is an okay match. And speaking of okay matches, we have your main event, which was the finals for the WWE title. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. And throughout the night, we had this constant reminder that they're best friends and they don't want to fight each other, but they have to. Blah, blah, blah. The Shield. That's basically, yeah. So, this match only went 9 minutes. Yeah, 9 minutes and 2 seconds. So, it really didn't tell much of a story. You're building up to this. I feel like the semifinal matches, because one went 14 minutes, the other one 11 minutes. Shave off 3 minutes on each and give this match a good 16 minutes or 15 minutes, because it just didn't feel like a finals match or a title match, to be honest. So I don't know if a few matches went a little too long or what, but yeah, it just really didn't do it much for me. And then, of course, Roman Reigns wins. And then Triple H comes out. Confetti's falling. I loved that they did this. They were really selling that the pay-per-view was over. You had the pyro. You had people leaving, thinking the pay-per-view was over. And then you have Triple H come out. Roman spears him. And then Sheamus comes out and cashes in the briefcase. Honestly, not a Sheamus fan. Never really have been. But I love the way they executed this. Like I said, they made you think the pay-per-view was over. I would have even had the little... You know how at the end of every pay-per-view they have like the little trademark at the very bottom? Like the all rights reserved to signify the end of the pay-per-view? I would have had that. And then have Sheamus come out to really sell this cash-in. So, the confetti and the pyro celebration, that was really cool. Because you don't expect cash-in after that. Once you see all that, you think the pay-per-view's over. And then Sheamus is your new champion, which he would hold that title for a little while. But, yeah, when it comes to an overall letter grade, this pay-per-view exceeded my expectations. I avoided watching this pay-per-view for 4 years. I never watched it until today. But I'm going to give this pay-per-view a B-. It's a solid, it's a good watch. It really doesn't push any boundaries or, move the earth at all. But it does hold up. It's a decent pay-per-view to watch. It's just really nothing special. But it's definitely worth checking out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. For now, this has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.